You're listening to DraftKings Network.
Welcome to the Big Suey, presented by DraftKings.
Why are you listening to this show?
The podcast that seems very similar to the other Dan Le Batard podcast.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize for that.
In fact, the only difference seems to be this imaging.
I have been tempted in restaurants just walking past tables to grab somebody's fries that if they're just there. That hasn't happened to you guys?
I've done it.
And now, here's the marching man to nowhere, Fat Face, and the habitual liar.
It's a funny thing with college football that the University of Miami football team, I felt, after 5 games, even though all they'd done is beaten Texas A&M, I felt because of simply what I saw from the size and speed of their offensive and defensive lines and how much better they looked than last year, I thought that Van Dyke would get enough protection all season to be able to do what he did to Texas A&M, a good defense in the SEC, to everybody. But that offensive line has remained good when I've been watching these football games, and the quarterback has made some decisions where I've been like, man, this guy was better his first year with some of this stuff when he was under duress, and I'm going to say it felt more athletic back then because I feel like he's been beaten up a little bit. And Van Dyke all of a sudden is part of the problem, Mike, in taking you the next step where you're winning a game in overtime against Clemson and all the games are close and Virginia can beat North Carolina and you're in a conference that's not strong except for FSU.
Yeah, largely over the last month, the biggest.
The Honorable Mike Ryan takes the floor.
You're going to do that every time? What is this?
Seamless.
So this?
I'm supposed to spin a wheel that then gives a random name of each of you, and then interrupt with the town crier's shriek the first time that person speaks in the segment.
Don't be afraid to skip me.
Yeah.
Is this Billy Gill? Did he create this?
I don't know that it is, but 100% yes.
It's Jeremy.
Evil cat.
Are you going to do that every time I talk or just at the start?
No, that's just the first time you speak in the segment. So you're good. Everybody's clear.
You spin a wheel? I don't understand. Okay, no, I don't understand.
It's not going to slow down the show.
Not at all.
Definitely not. I promise.
So largely over the last month, the biggest issue facing this team is Tyler Van Dyke and the offense. And you're right to point out that he's very well protected because Pro Football Focus ran the numbers. And, yeah, there was maybe 1 or 2 instances where he had to roll out of the pocket because there was what to the eye would seem as pressure, but that's not on the offensive line. Those are coverage pressures. He was actually pressured 0 times. The offensive line gave up 0 pressures in that game, and he should have had 3 picks. He is banged up. He had a bad bruise. He's got some rib issues. He entered the season with a hand. I think what happened in that Georgia Tech game, remember Georgia Tech switched defensive coordinators midweek. And when you compare, I'm done talking about Tyler of Rhett Lashley. I'm done. That was 2 years ago. Let's talk about Tyler from the first 4 games of the season. He was making quick decisions, but he was also playing defenses that realized, let's try to get after him. Let's try to beat this offensive line. Now what you're seeing is because their inability to, because Miami's offensive line is so good, you're seeing defenses force Tyler to make decisions, and he is really struggling making reads.
That's an important part of the game.
It is. But there are ways to fix that. The good news is you take that ability, you just say, all right, if you're a one-read quarterback, here's your read. We're going to make the game easy for you, and I think you turn Tyler into a bit of a game manager. While everyone was hyperbolic over Tyler a couple of years ago, I wanted to see more. I think there's a large enough sample now to know what Tyler is. He's a guy that needs everything to be absolutely perfect for him. And when health is one of those factors that is not perfect for him, maybe he pushes things a little bit too much. The read on Restrepo for that first interception against Virginia was the right read. It was just a bad throw. And typically, Tyler has been accurate, so health should be framing some of this stuff. But I see a guy that once things go south, let's use a Middle Tennessee stake from last year as an example. When things don't start going his way, he tends to dig in deeper into it and sink. I'm not questioning mental toughness. It just seems as though he's a front-running quarterback.
That's an indictment, though. What you're saying there is a step I'm not willing to take, even as we professionalize these people.
Dan, you have 2.5 years of sample, and typically you know what Tyler you're going to have
But Mike,
midway through the second quarter.
Look, man, this is what I'm saying to you. Understood on the criticism. That's what the last couple of seasons have revealed or shown. You don't trust this person to take you down the field, but you keep skipping over a part that to me is dehumanizing, and I know we're paying these guys now.
Yeah, you're paying Tyler Van Dyke a lot.
When you say banged up and you skip past it.
I didn't.
No, I know. But I mean, you eventually have to. You framed it.
No, I'm not going to allow you to make an excuse
Mike,
for him. He's out there. He didn't play one of the games.
I know. I'm not. It's not an excuse that I'm making for him. I'm simply telling you that you go through and it's a hand and it's this and it's this. I have a hard time making the assessment on someone's toughness or strength late in games based on how tough I think he is when he's playing through an assortment of things that I don't know what it's like to play through.
Okay, fair enough. That's why I frame them. But he's also out there. And this staff has not been shy about if he's not good to go, we're not going to put him out there. Dating back to week 1 when he had a finger injury, dating back to when they thought he was going to be good and fine to play against Clemson, and they said, you know what, wear your sweats, you're flatly not going out there. That game shouldn't have been close last week. It shouldn't have been. It was close because Tyler Van Dyke kept Virginia close. And he's been hurting the team.
The crazy thing is he was a first-round pick 2 years ago. Everybody was like, oh, this is the guy coming out of Miami. Like, we've already sold it. All right, he's a first-round pick. And now 2 years into his career, we're looking at saying, can he even be the best quarterback on his team?
This is the part that's puzzling to me, Mike, and you've corrected me now a couple of times where you go, let's not talk about the guy as a freshman who came out bombs away and surprised all of us in a season that had some expectations and then didn't because no one was expecting anything from Van Dyke. And in those 4 games, 400-yard games, 300-yard games, bombing the ball all over the field with maybe better receivers than this, but that guy no longer exists. And I'm watching a guy physically deteriorate in ways that are obvious. He missed games and you go hand and everything else.
I mean, how much easier can you make it for him, though?
No, but that's the thing. What I'm telling you and what I want the audience to know, that 2 things are absolutely true about this Miami team, and they're different than they were last year. That offensive line is clearly good. It is protecting him. I don't see a lot of quarterbacks safer in general than Van Dyke.
He's got a good running game. He's got a good offensive line. Like you're doing all you can for the guy. Again, I don't care about Rhett Lashley is putting up huge numbers at SMU. That offense played to perceived strengths of Tyler Van Dyke. That's fine. He looked damn good against Texas A&M. And if you want to poo-poo that victory, fine. I'm here to tell you that's a different Texas A&M team. They're much better with Wegman than they are with Max Johnson. That was a really good defense that Tyler Van Dyke carved up. And I do think holding the quarterback and the offense accountable is fine, especially coming off an offseason where you were in a battle to keep him with Alabama. We're not talking about a child here.
You hear that, Jeremy? That is how you keep a team that you're clearly biased towards accountable.
Well, I mean, Mike pays for that team. I'm kind of the opposite.
Oh.
Yeah, they pay you.
Mike, you have made 2 errors here, I would say. You didn't use the Tyler sound from Dabo every time. I think because the audience is going to get sick of you talking about Tyler Van Dyke, I believe you should just drop this in anytime you mention Tyler because you're spitting some things at him. And we also have
spitting truth.
We have some video.
What do you want from me? I'm serious. What do you the listener, I know you're just going to get upset because the Miami Hurricanes aren't your team. And yet I find it funny every year where we post a Corn Elder thing. It's like one of the great bits in the history of the show. It's totally born out of my Miami Hurricanes fandom. I'm a Heat fan. I'm a Hurricanes fan. I've been super critical. I haven't been if you don't like what I'm saying, you just don't like me. It's not because I'm being a homer. Could I be a pompous asshole on the air in front of this mic? Fine. But that's why you don't like me. Don't paint me with this broad brush that I'm a Heat homer and that I'm a Hurricanes homer. No one keeps it more real than me.
Chris Cody, what are you doing hovering around the proceedings here?
Is it being a helping hand? Trying to get me
teammate, good teammate, Dano.
Trying to find Tyler.
Oh, okay.
Tyler.
Oh, look, I like you vying for the executive producer position while Mike Ryan is
being
talking.
a team guy, Dan.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. I do want the Tyler, but I also want that video of the North Carolina State coach because Mike Ryan has been reasonable, not homer, totally fair, critical Mike Ryan, has been now for 3 weeks burying everyone in wanting to talk about Rueben Bain. And
Hurricane Bain.
I mean,
Bain time.
And I've wanted him several times in Los Angeles here. My annoyance is coast to coast. And then I watched him play. I mean, yes. And
He's Lawrence Taylor.
And, well, he's very strong.
Aaron Donald.
And it is fun to watch offensive linemen flail backwards with their arms thrown because he has put a hand in their chest. I'm confused by it.
Dan, you and I went to a game together where it was against Bethune-Cookman, and I saw 44 check in, and this was when his snap count was more limited because they were healthier. And I said, watch 44 here, and he dominated that play. It was a forced fumble on the play. That's easy to do when it's Bethune-Cookman, you're probably saying. When you're doing that against Clemson and Virginia week in, week out as a true freshman, I'm telling you, guys like this, Leonard Taylor's probably going to be a first-round pick. He's probably going to be top 20. And that shocks a lot of people in the audience. That if you aren't familiar, he's a defensive tackle for Miami. The scouts love him. But he doesn't flash all that much. He'll flash against Temple occasionally. It's hard to tell when a defensive tackle is dominating the game. Now, Rueben Bain lines up on the outside. He lines up on the inside. Wherever you line him up, he is just totally destroying plays, totally nuking things. He stands out in a way at that position that is special, that the casual sports fan who doesn't know much about technique or defensive line play can say, holy cow, that guy is amazing. And now opposing coaches are giving voice to it, Dan.
You know, their defense is led by their defensive line, and they've got a freshman defensive lineman, 44. Bain is one of the best freshman D linemen I've ever seen. He is really playing well. A guy that you like watching. Wish he was not on their sideline, but it's going to be a great opportunity to play against another great defensive lineman.
Look at Mike Ryan, smiling. Look at him.
Ear to ear.
Reasonable Mike Ryan. Look at him, thrilled, in love.
This was one of my projects.
In love.
I love Rueben Bain since he was in high school. He's been the best. He was the best player in the state for 2 years running. Easily. And he was a 4-star, and the only reason he was a 4-star was because the measurables probably weren't there, and we'll see when he enters the draft. Hopefully Aaron Donald changed the conversation a little bit. But it's crazy that I'm invoking Aaron Donald this early into Rueben Bain's career. He is a special player. Everybody that was talking about the recruitment of Rueben Bain said not only is he an amazing talent, not only is he undervalued because the guy's playing like a 6-star. Forget 4-star.
Oh my God!
Like an 8-star.
Oh my God, Chris!
Yeah, he's a 6-star.
Wait a minute.
He's a 6-star.
That's never happened on this show before.
He's a 6-star.
Chris,
that's insane.
That's not true. There's no such thing. There's no such thing.
Have you watched?
You've gone too far.
You have watched.
You've
Rueben
gone
Bain.
too far.
If there's ever a thing, it's Rueben Hurricane Bain.
Hey everybody, happy football season. It's Mike, and let me tell you what I do from kickoff to the final whistle. I have a Miller Lite in my hand. I just don't go wrong with it. I learned from experience. There is only one light beer worthy of our national obsession, because what's the point of having a beer if it doesn't taste like beer? You don't want to spend any time while you're watching football thinking about what you're drinking. And with the dependable flavor of Miller Lite, you don't have to worry about it because it's only got 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12-ounce serving. With a smooth taste and a crisp, clean finish, you'll get all the taste that you crave without the calories. A light, less filling beer that tastes great in football, there's just no topping that, folks. At least not for me. This season, do what I do. Crack open a light beer that hits your taste buds so hard, you feel it in your heart. Make it Miller time all football season long. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/Dan, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces.
Don Le Batard.
You getting started on the breakfast flan?
Oh, man. I've been singing the song to myself all morning long. Breakfast flan. Stugotz. Have you never heard the breakfast flan song?
No, hit me with it.
Okay. I wish I had some breakfast flan. Breakfast flan. Where can I find a breakfast like that? This is the Don Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Thursday Thunder, Dan.
I just saw it. I think I might be holding this segment down. The way you guys bounced as soon as you heard that music with genuine enthusiasm.
Yeah! The Honorable Sir Dan Le Batard speaks today!
You got a sir, Dan.
I don't know what this bit is over here. I don't understand it.
It's crushing. It's the town crier, Dan.
Okay, but
Sounds more like the town shouter.
Thursday.
I mean, come on.
That means we bring the thunder. Oh, we're red hot with this, aren't we?
Yeah, we've hit two of three the last 3 weeks.
Red hot. Red hot. Making you money if you decide to tail. But if you decide to tail responsibly. Thursday Thunder is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code Dan when you sign up on the app for a limited time offer for new customers. Tony Kalatayoud. Hit him with a thunder.
Thank you, Mike. Big game in the TNF tonight. Thursday Night Football, we've got Tennessee Titans at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Dan Marino played tonight. Dan, what do you think about that? You excited?
I can't believe
in his hometown.
You have taken the take where the take has not gone anywhere this season, I think, Mike.
You.
Mike's been proud of you lately, and I don't like that he's encouraging you here.
So proud of Tony's growth.
Did you guys see the video of Marino, by the way, like walking up to a group of kids and just being like, I'll sign one autograph.
He's like, I'm not
the
doing
rest
all
of you
this.
Get the hell away from me.
I was just talking about the mass that Tony has put on in the last 2 months.
Thank you.
See one of your projects too?
We go to the same guy.
Just like Chael and LeBron. Anyways, Steelers money line tonight. We like Dan Marino to have a bad game.
Stop doing that.
Yeah, sorry.
It's a rookie's second start after a lot of rat poison.
Yeah.
They got tape,
I
short
heard Mike
week.
Look, Mike Ryan's gambling is a little bit out of hand, I would say, and he was
tell that to Byron Leverkusen.
He was wandering around, shouting at people about DeAndre Hopkins. Not going to do that again. Not going to do
Can't
that
possibly.
again. Can't do it again because he's not Dan Marino.
If you squint, you see it. Second leg.
But not on a short week.
Not on a short week. A short week is tough when they got tape on you. The second leg here, we've been hot on QB rushing overs. 2 weeks ago, we had Derek Carr, whose over was a half yard.
Half yard, yeah.
Nailed it. Last year, yeah. Last week, we had Josh Allen, 21.5, hitting the first drive. So we are hot right now. We're going Kenny Pickett over 9.5 yards, rushing the ball.
But he's hurt, Tony.
Doesn't matter.
But Tony is hurt.
Doesn't matter. All you need is one run.
I saw on those props. I saw originally early in the season, Tua's at 1.5 yards, 2 yards, but now he's at 4 and 4.5 yards per game.
We're still not.
This is pathetic betting this stuff. You can't bet this
We're
stuff.
hot. We're hot right now, Dan.
Red hot.
2 weeks in a row. I almost said years again. I can't stop saying years. Third leg, Deontay Johnson over 5.5 catches. I think he's their best wide receiver. Kenny Pickett does too.
That is a terrible game.
I'm excited to see it.
You are?
Yeah. Let's see. Will Levis do it on the road on a short week. And I'm just curious how Mike Tomlin's going to invent a way to win.
But how can he invent a way to win when Vrabel's always inventing the ways to win?
These are two guys that are either good at beating dogs or small favorites after a long. It's a Highlander game.
Oh, it is. It is a Highlander game.
It's Duncan McLeod versus Connor McLeod.
Okay, I've got a problem with what's happening with Mike. First of all, he's getting totally out of control, drunk with power, and he made a 6-star recruit.
No, I didn't. God did.
His project.
And his project, he's taking, as someone's involved in the collective, he's sort of taking responsibility. Booster for...
Hey, look, it's a collective effort.
Okay, and then you're hitting...
As in they collect your money?
Yes. Oh, wow. Oh, man, that's good. Yes.
And then you're hitting me with Highlander references, and we're talking about Rueben, Bain, and gambling, and we're playing fun music. And on a day where I imagine, man, a sports icon has passed, and I imagine in some of the places where America is divided beyond sports, that Indiana will want this man treated reverentially. Bob Knight, I think I've got this right. If you can go across regions and sort of see how the country feels about things, and we wonder aloud if we're going to have a president in 2024 from jail.
Roy just fly swatted you.
But Roy was cut off several times so we could talk about Rueben Bain and so we could do Thursday Thunder. Mm-hmm. And I would like to have a more honest conversation than the careful one that Mike was. Mike was being respectful.
We were plenty honest. We've been plenty honest about Bob Knight. Have we pulled any punches when it comes to Bob Knight?
I'm not saying we. I'm just talking about how do you imagine this is going over in Indiana?
I mean, how often would you like to eulogize someone by calling them a racist? Because I did it at least 5 times.
Yeah, he did do that. Yeah.
Okay, but you wanted 7 more? Okay.
So, Roy, the floor is yours.
Hey, listen, the last thing I saw this man do was stump for Trump, right? He called him America's defender. So between that and using the N-word, because racism,
Yeah, excuse me from saying that rest in power. I'm not saying that for him today. I'm sorry.
Both loved and loathed is the second paragraph of the obituary today, and these are
same could be said for Matt Canada.
Yeah.
Tonight on Thursday Night Football.
A handful of things. We'll talk to John Feinstein about this in a second. He wrote the book on Night a long time ago. I think A Season on the Brink. I think I can say this. One of the top 10 sports books all time, maybe top 5. What he wrote about Bob Knight a long time ago, almost creating even more myth around Bob Knight.
Do you think he calls him complicated at all?
That's probably what you'll hear today, right? The way to soften it.
You know what?
Complicated guy.
No, Feinstein.
Complex.
I don't think of John Feinstein as careful or pulling punches.
I meant the media in general because, most people aren't doing what we did. They're probably just going to talk about the positive stuff.
You're not gonna really see that on ESPN.
You don't think so?
No, I think people.
They'll say complicated at worst.
Complicated.
Yeah.
Certainly
but they'll
found trouble.
He was a mixed bag.
All right,
Certainly found trouble.
No, it's not going to. Come on. No, these are the incidents.
Joe Zagacki.
No, come on.
He was one of my favorites.
No.
A hard guy to understand.
All right, you give me the counter punch on this then as Joe Zagacki.
I don't know why I made Joe Zagacki a big fan of.
Legacy.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Don't pull any punches.
Just
counter punch.
let me do my part.
He rarely pulled punches, especially when it came to his own players.
I'll do the actual incident and you just do Joe Zagacki, whatever the counter is. You just did it.
Yeah. All right. Cool. I'm going to.
During the 1979 Pan American Games in Puerto Rico, he was accused of assaulting a policeman, calling him the N-word, calling the Brazilian women's team dirty whores, and saying Puerto Rico was good only for growing bananas. Both he and others present denied the accusations, but in absentia, he'd already left the Commonwealth, he was found guilty of assault and sentenced to 6 months in jail. He never returned to serve his time, and years later, the conviction was reversed.
In his defense, Mofongo is great. Yeah.
He fired a race starter's pistol loaded with blanks at a Louisville sports writer.
That's just funny.
During the Final Four of the 1981 NCAA tournament in Philadelphia, he grabbed a heckling LSU fan and stuffed him into a trash can.
No one likes LSU fans, and that's a banner.
Irked after being charged with a technical foul in a game against Illinois, he kicked a megaphone, then yelled at Indiana cheerleaders to shut up so future UCLA coach Steve Alford could shoot a free throw.
Again, funny.
In an interview with Connie Chung on national television, he made a crude and ill-advised analogy involving rape, remarks he later said were misinterpreted.
Going to sit this one out.
Using a bullwhip, he gave a mock beating to Calbert Chaney, one of his black players, then later insisted the incident was not racially motivated. I don't mean to laugh.
I think he'd whip any player, whatever their color.
He headbutted player Sharon Wilkerson after pulling him out of a game, then later claimed the action was unintentional.
How many opt-outs do I have?
He was accused of choking a restaurant patron who said Knight had been making racist remarks.
If it was a waiter, I'd understand.
He was accused years after the alleged incidents of choking player Neil Reed during practice. Knight denied it, but a former assistant coach came forward with a video and of throwing a vase at a secretary, breaking a picture behind her desk.
Throwing a vase is kind of funny.
Yeah. Okay, no, wait a minute.
In the direction or at is very important distinction.
Okay.
Who throws a vase?
Rest in power?
Complicated legacy for Bob Knight. Bob Knight passed away today.
The team of the Jazz Band and Sneakers.
83.
It's not what it. Come on.
At the age of 83. Rest in power. I don't know. I racially complex Joe Zagacki is not my favorite, especially while improving. It's whose line is it anyways?
This death is brought to you by
Williamson, Cadillac, and Isuzu.
Regardless, I believe, let's take bets on this, Chris Cody. I believe John Feinstein will not pull any of those punches. Like, do you believe he'll...
He's like, we report, you decide kind of guy, right?
I think he'll be careful. I think he'll say complicated and stuff like that. I don't think he'll say the word racist.
He's an old-time journalist who wrote a book that was one of the greatest sports books of all time. I don't know what you guys considered. I think Agassi's biography is the best I've ever seen in sports, but I would put...
Dolphins at 50.
Yes, of course. Dolphins at 50.
Fins at 50. Get it on Amazon right now.
Greg Cody is number one in the charts. Number one in like 3 incredibly obscure environmental categories. Like,
Southeast Lion Books.
Yes. I mean, him and Ron McGill are killing it, though. And all he's doing is again and again refreshing to see how many sales that he has and where his rankings are. What a great...
And he doesn't even know his cut. Yeah. I'm like, what's the deal here? He's like, I don't know.
He's doing it for the right reasons then.
Right. And he and Ron McGill will tear apart as soon as business is involved and they realize that there's actual money involved.
My dad's bad at business, huh?
Oh, my God. Terrible. Like, truly, epically bad.
He has a wife as a lawyer.
If you want to buy Fins at 50, I found a paperback edition on Amazon for $400.
You guys need to buy all of Greg Cody's books and delude him into thinking that his writing is all of a sudden something that is shooting up the charts because he wants to believe it.
God, mofongo is delicious.
It is, indisputably.
Get some shrimp
Especially
in there,
if
too.
you get a little acidity with the pico and the lime.
What's the bet, Chris Cody? You think Feinstein's going to sit it out? He's a real journalist. The book was shocking because it reported all this stuff from the inside.
That's not sitting it out.
I think he's careful. I think he'll talk about some of the bad stuff, but he'll be careful.
Yeah, editorializing is not his job here, right?
I don't think we'll hear the word racist.
All right. I'm now looking forward to this.
He may hear
Was he a racist? Dan's first question.
Hey guys, it's Tony. US Cellular is introducing Us Mode. It's like airplane mode, but for people. You got that? Cool. It's a way to set up your phone so it doesn't get in the way of people really being with each other. Block distractions and make way for a real connection. Give it a try. Visit US Cellular in-store or online, and they'll help set up your phone to Us Mode. For free. Really, for free. Even if you're not a customer, they'll still do it. That's how good US Cellular is. Built for superior 5G connection and real human connection. US Cellular. Built for us. Find out more at uscellular.com/findus.
Dan Le Batard.
Amino Hassan.
Stugotz.
Amino acid.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
We cannot find John Feinstein. He's supposed to call in. He's supposed to call in and can't do it with video, so we accepted the rare just call us on the phone. And we will do an old-timey sports radio only on the phone, audio only experience with a driving John Feinstein, but we cannot locate him now, and we were going to do the proper this is the reporter who knew the most about Bob Knight, and I cannot find him, and we cannot find him. And why are you laughing at me?
Because we were going to make the effort to do like the proper Bob Knight segment, and instead you just got complicated legacy Joe Zagacki.
which I am happy to have birthed, honestly. I cannot get enough. I cannot get enough there. But hopefully we will get John Feinstein at some point. Also, Adnan and Sampson are going to be around here in a little bit, and I'm worried about that segment. And I'd like some help from Chris Cody, the producer of Cinephile, who is now trying to... Chris Cody wants a bigger career. Chris Cody wants to move up in the company. And Chris Cody's been on that pod with Adnan for a long time. And Adnan, we haven't even talked about the World Series. That was last night. Adnan and David Sampson for 6 weeks have been belching baseball content all over their worlds. We're going to have them on to talk movies and not baseball. And their movies are all 40 years old. And they're losing the young audience. The segment is not working because they're talking about movies that are too old and they don't know how to get younger.
Well, you're in luck because I made some changes to the segment. Wow. This week, they are doing the best movies from 2011 to 2020.
Wow. Okay.
I saw where your complaint was going to go. I already had this plan before you even said that. I was going to make it seem like I'm going to do that right now, but nope, already planned.
Wow. The problem with that is you're saying, wow, Tony, but the problem with all that is that we were actually going to do that segment with them before Los Angeles about 4 weeks ago or whatever.
So they're lazy and they just had their list done.
No, it got derailed with baseball talk, which is what we should be doing right now. But I don't feel confident in the room because Mike Ryan came in and basically just watched 2 pitches of the baseball season last night.
Can't go out with the bat on your back.
Nope. Can't do that, man.
Also, look, I own this comment. I think Nathan Eovaldi is one of the best postseason pitchers of all time.
You can't own that comment. David Sampson took that comment yesterday, and we laughed at him.
I could not believe the way that you guys laughed at him for that. It was amazing. He is one of the best postseason pitchers of this generation.
Gotta be.
Big Game Nate.
Well, it wasn't this generation.
There have to be.
Wait, what? I don't understand.
The qualifier wasn't this generation.
Big Game Nate.
I don't understand.
There have to be at least 200 people with those same numbers in postseason history.
No, well, in the modern age of big offense, a guy comes in and has an ERA at about 3, and it's WHIP. It's not like they've advanced the numbers, and he misses a lot of bats, and he's
Two straight segments.
He's a power pitcher.
It's also that he threw like 1,000 innings in that one Red Sox World Series, so he gets to build up that Madison Bumgarner he won them a World Series.
Mad bum.
He's got a great chin.
This is part of the problem. He does, man. The part of the problem with Mike Ryan is he will not change his opinion of.
Just real quick, is he Sicilian?
I saw his career with the Marlins start. We all saw him throwing 101 miles an hour, and he wasn't good here. And Mike Ryan is not willing to change his opinion.
How many pitchers are we going to do this with?
You do it with way too many.
I mean, when I saw Brad Hand become good somewhere else, I was like, this is getting ridiculous.
An all-star. Not good somewhere else, an all-star.
Zach Allen was perfect through 6 innings last night.
What? That was my friend's fault. As soon as he talked about it, it was blown.
You'll be happy to know that made the 4th TV. That's right. I had to add one for baseball.
You did, though.
Yeah. I watched that game with an eye on it. I told you, I do have some connection to it. My friend Masser is, I think, still partying with the Texas Rangers. I wanted joy for my friend. What was weird, though, is that you had a World Series clinching game, and I am in a baseball chat with baseball fans, and there's been one text the entire week, and it was snakes alive.
I've got to tell you, this is look. If baseball has indeed gone from national pastime to regional sport. This, in terms of storytelling on the things that people love about their games and sports from the time of Hoosiers, Texas got into this game in the most big Texas way possible, which is we're going to buy here, we're going to buy here, we're going to get Bochy, and we're coming to win the championship. And everyone's looking at him like, George W. Bush was a buffoon as your owner. It's about the best you've ever had. You guys gave A-Rod, finished last place, giving him the biggest contract in the sport. As a sport, the Texas Rangers have been laughed at for 60 years. They got into this game, and not only did they beat everyone, and there were so many good teams out there, the Rays and the Braves, the Dodgers, the Braves were an overwhelming baseball team. For Texas to spend giant, lose
102 games 2 years ago, I believe.
Okay, for them to get in the game and then not only win, but the way they won was just, we are going to smash everybody. We're going to hit giant home runs. The way to play the game correctly now is we're going to hit the ball over the fence more than everybody, and you're going to be down 5-0 a lot because we hit the ball over the fence.
And the craziest part about their lineup is they did develop a couple of players of their own, but like Marcus Semien and Corey Seager, who they went out and spent a ton of money on, were the biggest reason that they thrived in the World Series in particular. And then you look at the pitchers that didn't pitch for them, that are these hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts, when you have Max Scherzer and Jacob.
Jeremy's talking now.
What?
Wow, that is really annoying.
What did he say?
Hear
he.
Ass on.
Yearly?
I'm worried about sending you to Germany.
Year he?
Okay. Year
This was my character, too, in Roy's Realm.
All right. Year he.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is it exactly?
Hear ye.
Oh, aren't
pretty
you
simple.
guys just brilliant?
Okay, so is this
Say the same shit as you guys, by the way.
All right.
Okay.
I've got a problem now. I got to stop for a second. No, I'm not. Tony, you were very quick with the trigger, kicking him out. No, this is the problem that I have.
It's year he?
No.
Year he!
Careful with the pronouns, I guess.
Yeah.
Back to you.
This is the problem that I have. Chris Cody is going to Germany. I don't know what he's making. This is a secondary problem. We're sending him to Germany with film crew and evidently Juju, and we're going to cover Dolphins Chiefs, but he's not qualified?
He is. He is.
Huh. And his,
I resent that, by the way.
And his judgment is very bad? We're not in agreement on this?
Which side of Germany?
You know what? I'm not comfortable with some of what's
I don't
happening.
hate. I was going to say I don't hate this character, but I don't hate this character for off air. I hate this character for on air.
Chris Cody.
What's up?
I think you've gotten Meadowlark into legal trouble now.
Lubble.
Because I don't know that you could just take the picture of someone's foot in the stall next to you and then foot shame them publicly with an arm of a media company or a foot of a media company.
That would be a hilarious court case. Like, think about the pub. Oh, my God.
Don't do that again. Don't do that again.
I just love the idea of some guy being like, it's not even him, it's his friend who knows his foot. He's like, hey, John, I saw your foot on a podcast. And then next thing you know, we're in court. Dung, dung, dung. Chris Cody took a picture.
You're laughing at this, and I'm not sure that it's funny because
I mean, I didn't take the picture. Someone else did and sent it to me.
But did you commit a crime? Did we commit a crime by? I don't know if we've invaded a privacy in a public bathroom. There are issues with taking photographs of people who don't know they're being photographed in bathrooms. I'm not sure how legal any of that is.
Can we crop my knee out of that photo, please? Thank you.
Incriminating. We can agree. Right?
Freckled knee.
There are a lot of freckled knees out there.
Mike, the show has been knocked a little bit off kilter this week because I don't know why the useless sound montage didn't get here until today, but I also don't know why Amin is not here yet because Oddball is running long, and I don't know anything about why Stugotz and Chris Cody. Like, what kind of gig does Chris Cody have where it's not just he gets sent to Germany, a trip everybody wanted to take, but yesterday he's golfing on company time with Stugotz, and I don't know.
That was a DraftKings project.
You got paid for that?
I mean, I have a salary.
Yeah. I mean, you said it yourself. He wants his star to grow. So he's growing.
I've physically grown, but I'm trying to do it more professionally at this point.
What can we tell people about the content that will be birthed from you doing what you did yesterday?
We competed against Bob Does Sports, very popular golf YouTube channel, and Stugotz was as Stugotz as he could be. That's all I'll say. I don't want to spoil anything. He did show up. I'll say that. And, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's great. It's going to be a must-watch.
Yeah, it's embargoed, Dan. And this is going to air in a couple of weeks, so don't try to pry.
Okay. Well, I would call it promotion, but prying is another way.
Promote when it's done.
We just did it.
You just talked about it, but you're going to be like, well, what did Stugotz do specifically? And, I mean, you got to save it for air, babe.
Okay. But I also want to build up the tension. Babe? Was that?
Babe.
Was that
like a pig.
Was that play on for me?
Was that an Uncle Jesse, babe?
No, I spent a lot of time in SoCal.
Oh.
Tinseltown.
Are people still asking questions about why we were out there?
Yeah, and I don't have a good answer for them just yet. Other than poorly dressed sports reporters.
That's a good appraisal of what we did out there.
You cried.
When people listen, man. Yeah, we don't want to talk about anxiety and grief, right? And why this has been a hiding place for 2 years, a wonderful
Rub some
hiding
dirt
place.
On it. Bury your feelings like a real man.
Yeah.
Go to your office, open up something brown, pour it down your gullet, take it out on your kids.
I love this character so much. Joe Zagacki, the actual and real Joe Zagacki outside a hallway in early QAM days when he was drunk with power.
On the corner of 441 and Commercial Boulevard.
Drunk with power and running this market. Like, Zagacki's a legend in this market. Zagacki almost died. He had a plane crash where he was doing, like, genuine great volunteer work, like amazing volunteer work. And Joe Zagacki hated me, and the wars of newspapers and Joe Zagacki made it so that he yelled at me one day when I was co-hosting on QAM about what I would not say on their air. This character you've created, who runs this town as unhinged Joe Zagacki, can't be controlled as program director. He must flourish. He must live.